because they might just take the whole thing and go to the garage and see what's up in there. But I think it could be a great idea if it's getting you your food
Yeah.
faster, if it's safer for, the drivers that aren't on the road so long
Yeah.
and putting wear and tear on their cars. But I'm
Yeah.
interested to see how long it could take those little robots to get from point A to point B because nobody
Yeah.
likes cold food.
And for mass adoption, I think this is a problem that is being solved in terms of the tight labor market, right? We talk about this on some of
Hmm.
our other shows. There's more than 11 million job openings out there. There's only 6 million people looking for work right now. So that's a gap of about 5 million people. And so that gap gets filled by robots willing to take on some of these roles like a delivery driver. And then that,
Hmm.
who would have been that delivery driver gets upscaled maybe into something else that pays a little bit more and is not as monotonous for work. Also helps the company in terms of like their margins are a little bit better. So it's fascinating to see
Yeah.
the innovation that we're seeing meet business and maybe solve a greater problem.
Now, I see these would be useful for like a college campus where it's still contained within a
Yes.
certain environment, but yet you can get things to people without
Yeah.
going all the way across campus. Or even some of the hospitals are
Yeah.
large, and it's just a lot faster to send a robot to deliver stuff.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's exciting to see that there could be mass adoption. I just wonder what that timeline looks like. We'll have to wait and see, I guess.
All right.
All right, here's news for grandchildren, especially those in New York. You may soon have to compete for the love of your grandparents, or at least their affection, with rivals like robots. The New York State Office for the Aging is giving out hundreds of robots to serve as companions for the elderly. The decision comes as the state tries to combat loneliness that many older people face. The robot friends will be distributed to more than 800 elderly people in New York. And the robots are companions used for talking, contacting friends and family, and setting important reminders, and are not able to complete physical jobs, especially those that can't complete those physical jobs. I think this is interesting to me because you think of a companion, you think of a pet, but if you are
Mm.
elderly and not as mobile as you once were, you can't have a dog or a pet that has to kind of go outside and take care of them. Even a cat in the house, if you can't get from one room to another room to change the litter box, you're not able to have that kind of companionship. Whereas a
Yeah.
robot is completely independent and can actually offload some tasks that you would have to do independently with that, and then maybe provide some companionship. So interesting how New York is trying to do something like this.
Yeah, we actually have an interview coming up later in the show where we're going to talk to an expert about the advances in robotics and these
Yeah.
robot partners or friends that people are starting to get. Because you remember that movie, Big Six or whatever it was, they
Yeah.
had
Yeah.
Baymax. Baymax was
Yeah.
the name of the big white robot in there. And his job was to be a companion to help and to provide comfort, health issues, and he
Yeah.
can detect those things. So I don't think it's far off as
No.
far as, maybe not being human like, but actually being able to help in those functional needs, especially when someone just wants company and you got
Yeah.
somebody that's a little bit more advanced than Alexa to talk to you and have conversations with you. Like, I understand.
And
I,
there's a
I need
physical
mine to
presence
be programmed to
there.
say, you are right. You are always right.
More
Very
of a
different from what my wife tells me, but,
more of an ego
it'd be nice to
boost
have
to
that.
balance off your wife. I think the reality is, to your point, that this is going to be a more normal part of our life moving forward. Yeah, the innovation is there, and I think the acceptance of people to utilize some of these robot technologies is there from the workplace, and then even in our homes, especially for some of our elderly adults in this story.
Yeah, it's so true. And hey, if anything can make grandma and grandpa happier, then
Make
I'm
them
all
happy.
for it.
Yes.
Exactly. Well, as machines and robotics now start to develop and think on their own